5G Adventure Outdoors, sharing the outdoors with family and friends.
Hey everybody, it's 5G Adventure Outdoors. Today I'm going to show you how I'm going to make our visibility poles. So myself and my kids and my husband are all kayaking, and I want the kids to be a little more visible out on the lake water. So I decided to go ahead and make my poles after looking them up online. I got items from the Dollar Tree, Walmart, and I did order one item off of Amazon, and I'll show you what those are. So I ordered the hunting vest off of Amazon, and it was, I think, $6, and I got an extra large hunting vest, and I think I'm going to be able to get 4 flags out of this. So I think just by cutting the shoulders apart and then right down the middle, I should be able to get 4 flags. I bought El Cheapo brooms from the Dollar Tree and the solar lights from the Dollar Tree, and I'll show you. I'm going to take these completely apart, and I'm going to use almost every piece. The only piece I'm not going to use are the actual light, but I'm using the pole and the stake for the visibility pole, and I'll show you how that works as we get to it. And then I also, from Walmart, I got the flashlight. It's the flashlight, and it's got the 360. There's a couple different modes, but I was most interested in the flashing 360 light. So they had green and blue lights, but I thought that red would be the best for the visibility. So let's get started. One flag. Just gotta sew that one right there. It'll be the only hem I have to make. And then I haven't decided yet if I'm going to just glue it to the pole, or I probably what will end up happening is I'll sew a sleeve in it, and then I'll also add some glue. It will actually be going on this pole, this part. So that's probably what I'll do. Really quickly, I do want to measure, see how big around this is, so I know how big to make the sleeve. So it looks like it's 2.5 inches. So each sleeve will need to be 2.5 inches in diameter or circumference. Okay, got it. All right, let's sew. So I'm going to do a double hem, just so that I can make sure that it doesn't come unraveled, because it'll be whipping around in the wind quite a bit. So hopefully my machine cooperates with me today. It was a little bit iffy the last time I used it. So there's that. This is one of the ones with the long cut, so I'll sew that up as well. Do a double hem there also. I am by no means a perfectionist, so if you are a perfectionist watching this, it might hurt your eyes a little bit. I just want something so that we are visible on the water. does not have to be perfect, it just has to be seen. There we go. There's your flag. So, now I'm going to go ahead and put the little sleeve in. So we need a pocket that will accommodate 2.5 inch barrel. So I'm going to inches, and then I need to allow room for the seam. So I'll go 3 inches. That will allow room for the seam. And because I don't trust my measurements, I'm going to see if it will work. So, I have to go a little bit farther. This has a little bit of a indentation from the collar where it was on the vest, so I'm actually going to have to go a little bit further and sew that down. Just slide right in there. Just like that. Perfect. Always go. Tighter on top, which is fine. Actually, I don't want it to be that way, so that's awesome. So there is the flag. All right, we'll do the rest of these later. I'll show you how this one's going to end up. All right, so now we're ready to start taking apart all the items that I mentioned earlier. The first thing that I'm going to take apart is the broom. I'm going to get rid of the top because we don't need it. I'm going to unscrew the bottom because this is really the reason I bought it. And then after the fact, I had a really good idea for this part as well. So I'm going to set this aside for just a little bit, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that later. So now I have my pole that's going to be what the light and the flag is going to be displayed on. It's very convenient. I didn't measure in the store, didn't try in the store. I just bought I bought the brooms and the solar lights, and it was kind of serendipitous that they all fit together, thankfully. So I'm going to take off the light part of the solar light. If you need solar lights, I was really impressed. These aren't, if you wanted to use these on the lake, you could put it in there and glue it in, and it would charge during the day, and then as soon as it got dark, it would automatically come on. And it's a 360 light. It's not quite as bright as I wanted for my kids and quite as noticeable. I like the flashing light better for my kids. But if you were doing this for you, that would save you $3 because the light is half the cost of this whole thing. But these work really well. I got them yesterday and I took the little tabs out, and they were still lit up this morning whenever I got up this morning. So I was pretty impressed with that. But we don't need that right now. So and then also you have the pipe portion, and then you have the stake portion. So what I am anticipating is being able to remove this easily from the kayak. So how I put this in, I use hot glue. I might have to change that later because I know the hot glue is not always reliable. And I'm just putting this very liberally in each of the little indentation areas and getting it on there really nice and thick, and pointy end down right in there and letting the glue squish out. You may want to take like a pair of needle nose pliers and bend the end in just a little bit because it is a little bit sloppy, a little bit loose in there, or you just always add more glue. And it's a little messy, and I apologize, but I am going to clean that up. I will show you that. So I said we weren't going to use this, but I fibbed. So I took the end of that and just smoothed all of the glue out so that it wasn't so clumpy. Okay. Just like that. And while that is cooling and solidifying, put it over there, I am going to show you this. So on the tube portion, one side's a little bit bigger than the other, so you can see how far in that goes on that side. So make sure that you got the most amount of your light sticking out. But it goes in, I mean, it gets snug. This light is tapered, so it will slide in and get really snug. And then you have your flashing light. And then this fits on the end of the stake just as it was meant to. If you're worried about it coming off, you could glue it on. Like, this is really the only part that needs to come out, so you can change the batteries, and even then you can still change the batteries having it. If you wanted to glue this in as well, you could do that, because this is where you change your batteries at. So you could glue it all if you want, or you can make it come apart. Now, for the other piece of the broom, so to make it solid in the kayak, we have fishing crates in our kayak, and I was trying to figure out how would be the best way to, you know, attach them to the crate. And so my husband and I came up with the idea, if you take your pliers and grab these bristles and just give them a little twist, they pop right out, okay? It takes a little while to get them all out, but you can, and it is not that big a deal, and then you're not wasting, you know, pieces. We use every single piece that we can. And then once you have them all out, all you're left with is this flat piece. And we are planning, we'll let you know if it works or not, we are planning on just taking this piece and zip tying it to the top of the crate, and then the broom handle will screw in and out of its original location where it's supposed to be anyway. So fingers crossed that that works. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get the top on there. So I'm going to slide my flag on there, and it did get a little bit narrow at the top. That's okay. I don't mind. That's going to make sure, that's going to keep it from coming off, hopefully. And I'm going to put a little bit super glue. I love super glue. Sorry, my dog is jingling her. So I'm going to put a little super glue just around the top. And I'm going to slide that right back up to the edge. Try not to get glue all over my fingers. I always end up with super glue all over my fingers when I use it. Anybody else do that? Get super glue all over themselves when they use it. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit right there. A little bit more. Make sure it's on there good. I don't want to lose it. I would defeat the whole purpose. And then it's nice and dry. I got hot glue strings, and then it just sits right there. Okay. With the light on the top. This is a sticker, and you can take that off if you want. The only thing is that it's holding on the cap. So there's a cap down here because this has a whistle on it. Doesn't work very well. But anyway, that holds the cap on. And then I'm going to slide this down because it's a little bit longer than the solar light. There we go. And I'm going to take it out in just a minute and mount it onto a crate, and we'll see how well it really does work. I'm pretty excited. My husband's like, just buy one. I'm like, no, I can make one cheaper. And altogether, with this light, if you choose to use this light, it's $6. If you decide that the solar light is enough and you don't need any extra light, it's $3. So that's lighting up, but it's not been charging for very long. So either way, there you go. Very economic way to make a visibility pole. So, all right, so we're gonna attach the broom holder to the crate. We thought about attaching it on the top, but it was too wobbly. So we're going to attach it into the bottom of the crate and still be mindful which direction that it's pointing. I'm going to put the zip ties on loosely so that I can still move it to where I want it to be. Before I snug them down. Oh yeah, that's a lot more secure.